course. Today's news will be a special on Russia. The topics we will be covering are the nuclear advances the Kremlin is doing, the gas shortages to countries such as Ukraine, and the growing need of Russian gas from European nations. Mainly, Russia has advanced nuclearly in two main ways. The first one by creating the world's most powerful vacuum bomb, which is said to unleash a destructive shockwave with the power of a nuclear blast.
Нет данных никогда нигде.
Осуществляются разработки средств поражения, основанных на современных достижениях нанотехнологий в области создания сверхмощных боеприпасов, способных по своим поражающим факторам
Even though Russian officials insist that it is only for security purposes and that for now it won't be used against any other nations, these countries still fear that the opposite will happen. After knowing that these news were spread, President Vladimir Putin released the information that this extremely powerful nuclear weapon does not contaminate the environment. Well, isn't that good news, Mr. Yilmaz?
Well, yes, Mr. Pere. But besides from that, the Kremlin has reactivated flights of the Bear bomber. Which entered service during the Cold War in 1992. Starting this August, these massive airplanes started patrolling Russian air territory. The monster has a wingspan of 51.1 meters, 49.5 meters in length, and a range of 15,000 kilometers. Good day, Mr. Putin.
Hello.
The TV Today's program sends me to ask several questions about current news on Russia. Is the President open to any questions?
Yes, certainly, but would you like some vodka first?
No, thank you. Okay, certain nations say Russia is trying to become the world's most powerful nation again, but this time by taking military action. Is that true?
No, obviously not. Russia is creating this military object just for the security of the international community.
So then, what does Mr. Putin believe about the fact that countries have stopped getting gas supplies from Russia lately?
Countries have not just stopped getting supplies from Russian gas, just that these countries are getting really slow at paying the bills. So the only way Russia thinks that the bills can be paid is, by being paid by the country. So then they would get the gas.
Finally, TVTS would like to know, at the end of this short interview, your views on the reasons why countries say the majority of the EU depends on Russian gas.
Well, all the countries that are buying Russian gas and oil, they decide themselves to, don't they? So, I don't know why they criticize Russia for that.
Thank you, Mr. Vladimir Putin, for your time.
Thank you, and we'll be back after the commercials. Marta, wake up! I'm coming. Where's my Actimel? I can't start my day without my Actimel. My Actimel. It gives me protein, and it gives me all the stuff to start my day off with. Cheers. Actimel! Talking about the gas shortages. Mainly Russia has stopped supplying Ukraine with its gas. Moscow insists that these shortages are due to the $1.3 billion debt Ukraine has. Kiev's officials admit that they, as consumers of this gas, have been pretty slow at paying the gas bills to Moscow. At this moment, 80% of the gas in Ukraine comes from the Russian state. Also, 27 EU countries depend on this gas. Because of this crisis, President Putin cautioned nations that are currently being given Russian gas by saying, debts for Russian gas supplies, even if they occur in states friendly to Russia, should be paid exactly on time and in accordance with previously reached agreements. Therefore, Yuri Boyko, the Ukrainian energy minister, has assured the Kremlin what the payment will be accomplished by November 1st this year. But we will later see if that means Mr. Putin changed his mind.
Yes, and we have just received an email that tells us that this information has just been announced by the Gazprom, which is pleasant news. Aside from the fact that Ukrainian politicians say that Gazprom workers have affected some way the amount of money that consumers in Ukraine owe Russia. Another nation that is in some way affected by this gas problem is Belarus, which is trying to smoothen relations with Russia to be able to negotiate on future gas transport. On a visit with Belarus and Russia maintained on October 11th, the Kremlin said the price of the gas will not rise noticeably until 2008.
Finally, these nations, including the rest of Europe, are trying to find a way not to depend on gas that much, which surely will make a big effort.
Thank you,
and see you tomorrow at 3
o'clock.